Right, hello. Welcome to Grim and Perilous Plays. We are finally back to playing some Heart City Beneath tonight, continuing our campaign. We are nearing its end. We're probably 2/3 of the way through or so. I don't think things will end tonight, but maybe they will. Depends how much they piss me off. Yeah, we're gonna pick up where we left off. We had a very long, nearly unending delve as you guys went to try to go to a gas station and get some gas. But as we all know, gas prices have been pretty crazy lately. So, yeah, and we're finally returning. And so we get to see the state of the Bleeding Hollow as you all return finally. But before that happens, why don't we do a refresh and reintroduction of all of the characters that are here. Unfortunately, we have no Jen tonight, but we have 5 other people, and they will tell you who they're playing now. So, Adam, we're going to start with you. Who are you playing?
Hi, I'm playing Esme, and Esme is just happy to be here. We are coming back home to the meat tree after we've got what's going to save it, and then we're going to be lauded as adventurers, and it's going to be so great, and I'm going to get to see everyone, and everything's going to be just fine. So, yeah, she's a deep apiarist, and she's known for being positive.
Do you want to share your other character? Because there's Esme. Did you mention Susan?
Susan doesn't need to be mentioned. Susan doesn't care for such trivialities.
Okay. Speaking of trivial,
whatever will happen will happen.
Speaking of trivial, here's Chuck. Chuck, tell us about Lucius.
I'm Lucius. I was busy talking at Melissa because she said, "Look, we're all bearded now." I'm like, "Yeah." Afterwards, we're all going to get together and braid our beards together.
I wouldn't call mine a beard.
I'd be okay with it. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. The question is, are we braiding each other's beards to each other's beards, or are we each braiding our own beards individually? It's like a
I don't know the answer,
beards.
but I do have beard beads that we can use to decorate them.
Like a less gross human centipede moment.
Kind of.
Okay.
I was saying we're like Rat King, just our faces.
Yeah. Okay.
Just chin to chin.
Yeah.
We all make out after the session, anyways. Why not?
Get to do it. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Anyway, I'm playing Lucius, heretic, cleric, and clergy of the meat tree. And I am very worried because I think that Susan and Zenobe are plotting to kill me. And it makes me very uncomfortable.
It's not that they're not plotting against you, but maybe they are.
I'm plotting against everyone, so.
Mm-hmm. And you're not the only one. I am privy to secret knowledge, but I can't share.
No.
I can't share.
I don't like secret knowledge.
I know it's rough, isn't it? We're just like, look at all these messages I'm getting. Oh, she got another one. Hang on, let me check.
Oh no.
Okay. Next up, Mike. Mike, tell us about Dante.
Dante is a hound, and he is just very happy to be back because he's been trying to herd these group of people and keep them focused. And now he's like, great, now I get to take a break. Maybe. We'll see. But
yeah. Totally nothing bad happening at the Haven.
I mean, it's going to be great. We're going to get back.
Be fine.
I'm just going to take like a week off vacation,
Totally. Yeah.
Like R&R is like a staycation.
Got to use them or lose them. Those
Exactly.
days off.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't roll over.
No rollover. Not in heart. Maybe inspire, but not in heart. Hell no. As I said, no Jen, but we do have a Steven. Insert the obvious joke here. Steven, go ahead and tell us about your character.
Hello, everyone. I'm playing Zenobe. I am a junk mage. I have packets and pockets and backpacks full of just random crap. Any sort of muscle honey I can find. If it's there, I'm going to pick it up and put it in my pocket. I am a devoted servant of the heart. She sings to me. I occasionally sing back. Her name is Zenobe. She's a very beautiful person. Not talking about the other Zenobe that I met last session, but anyways, yeah, that's me.
Very nice, very nice. And then finally, we've got Jeremy. Jeremy playing our Knoll Cleaver. Tell us about Malik.
Yes, I'm playing Malik, the Knoll Penitent Cleaver. I too am a devoted servant, and I often pick up random things, but I put them in my mouth instead of my pockets. It's a lot less weird than it sounds. It's usually very useful.
Very nice.
I really just want to help. It's so hard.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. So, big summary. Let's get this kind of back together. You all are from a haven in the second tier of the heart, known as Bleeding Hollow. You are all followers to one degree or another of the Church of the Meat Tree, as that is the centerpiece of the Bleeding Hollow. And there's various faiths that have cropped up around it. Unfortunately, something happened, and a lot of the spire block, the oil that was used to fuel most of the machinery and the lights and the ovens and the furnaces of the Bleeding Hollow was destroyed in a case of sabotage, terrorism. And you all were tasked with heading out and across the terror that is the heart to find a place where you can get enough replacement oil to sort of allow the Bleeding Hollow to survive. You had a lead, this Spire Black refinery that was far away. You had to travel through multiple Vermissian stations, through a strange kind of vortex of railroad tracks. You had to kind of bypass this nihilistic cult about the hungry below. But eventually you found it. But you, while you were there, while you were at this factory, there were a variety of strange occurrences that took place. One of which was Zenobe seeing Lucius kind of wander about at one point, but not the real Lucius or something like that. I believe it was your friendly shoulder eel. I think was the one that was giving.
I'm pretty sure it was the real Lucius.
We'll find out.
No.
Might have been. As there are a lot of fumes and other strange occurrences that were transpiring at the factory. You also had to deal with some strange pitchkin that were these creatures. This huge creature, by the way, that was like weaving about within the Spire Black, which you all didn't actually trigger an encounter with, thankfully, as that thing could have hurt. But eventually you made it back. It wasn't the easiest road, but we montaged our way back a bit. And you have now returned to the Bleeding Hollow. However, all is not how you left it, as when you arrive, kind of through the sort of similar paths that you've taken before, you notice, first of all, that things are quite dark, to the point where you have to kind of light up your lanterns and torches in ways that in the past you've never really had to do before. And you can see that the tunnels and paths that you've taken have already started to kind of close in on themselves. The last vestiges of like the kind of this cobblestone road and that was somewhat paved, and outside the Bleeding Hollow into some of the main thoroughways. You can already see evidence of the heart kind of retaking it in some way. The cobblestone sort of sinking into that kind of weird fleshy colored walls, and you can see some of the vegetation that had grown has already withered at this point. And when you turn into the sort of the massive cavern within which the Bleeding Hollow is located, you don't see any lights. In fact, just occasional kind of glow of something here or there. Normally, when you make your return, you see in the distance on a hill in the center of the city the meat tree in all its glory, lights, lanterns on, illuminating it for those to see. But you currently can't see that. Instead, it's just a massive, dark cavern. You hear here and there around you in the darkness. You hear the sounds of like a creaking door or something stumbling and crashing in the distance. You hear like a distant scream of some kind. This is what you see as you pull up into the cavern with your massive cart in tow, with plenty of spire black. Would you
Yeah,
like
I think
to
we
do?
have 2 trucks, right?
You do, yeah. 2 big old trucks.
2 big old trucks. Spire black. All right. I assume Dante would be driving the lead vehicle. So,
Sure.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and take it into town. Like, he knows where we used to store the Spire blood and then the Spire black. And assuming we would go to the same place, or is there a factory that we can do like a direct deposit to?
So
Like,
you
get
know that
filled up?
there definitely are factories in here.
Yeah.
And there was a warehouse section, but the warehouse section is what exploded.
Right.
So I don't think it was ever rebuilt. But if you want to try to just drive it on back to one of the meat factories.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and make a discern cursed roll as you lead the way in.
All right. Discern cursed. Can't remember, but I feel like those are not good skills for me. But we're going to do it anyway.
You can do it.
I have neither of those. Roll.
Okay. So you're up front. You've got a lantern that it's giving you, and you guys are like literally a bubble of light in this otherwise immensely dark cavern.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're traveling through, just like on the outskirts, you're noticing that the roads that you all had done so well to keep clean and traversable have become fractured, and you see chunks of earth and other substances weaving their way up out of the cobblestone. You pass by what looks like buildings that have collapsed in on themselves, others where it looks like there's something growing out of them. You feel something falling on you, almost like rain, strangely enough, but not in any great quantity, but occasional like kind of droplet here and there. And you kind of feel like a tiny burn as it hits your skin.
Is it sprinkling?
It is sprinkling, and it kind of hurts a little bit. And while you're kind of wiping your forehead off from that, you don't notice up ahead that there's something wrong with the road, even more so than the other little fractures, as you don't see as like a sinkhole kind of opens up, and the front truck that you're driving just collapses into it. So we'll make this a supplies. We'll do a supplies stress. Take, I think it's D6. Take 1 point of supply stress as some of your equipment that's up front with you kind of goes stumbling forward, and your truck just goes tipping the front 2 wheels, and it starts to collapse. Those of you in the back, you watch as it just tips. The back wheels are kicking up. And Mike, you in the front, Dante, you kind of fall into this sinkhole a little bit. What are the rest of you doing?
The first goal is to help Dante back up and out. Beyond that...
Oh, no.
Yes, I know.
Okay,
You're
said that.
mortified. Thank you for your concern.
I'd like to help. How do I help?
Oh,
What do you need me to do?
we're going to reach in and pull him up.
Oh, okay. Like this, as I'll hopefully be able to help somehow.
Sure. Okay, so I'm obviously I assume like you stop the other truck and you kind of get out, you get to the edge. You see it's teetering, and like half of the front of the truck, which is it's more like kind of this like tankish like APC type of vehicle, is half of it's down in, and you can't really see the cab where Dante is in, but what you can see as you hold the lantern over is
But
that
I have darkling eyes.
Oh yeah, I guess you would because of your you don't even need the lantern.
The strange multiple pupae in the eyes glow, and he sees into the darkness quite well.
And so what you see surrounding the truck's cab in the very front, what you see surrounding it is all sorts of these variously shaped worms, as this massive clue of worms in this sinkhole that's roughly 20 feet across, maybe in diameter in total. And they're all starting now to climb over top of the cab. And you can see there's other chunks of like concrete and construction materials and maybe bones where it's just sort of devouring it. And these worms are anywhere from just a few inches, maybe a forearm in length, all the way up to maybe a 5 or 6 foot long. Some of them very, very chunky, others very slender. But as they move and slide around, you can see these tiny little teeth on eyeless faces. They're kind of gnawing away at the front of the truck.
I have what may sound like a slightly strange question. Do they remind me of the worms that we saw in the other cleavers as we began our delve so long ago?
They're bigger, for sure, but there's definitely a similarity, yeah.
Repeat of the heartworms have come back to haunt our city. Don't look down.
You gonna eat one of those?
No.
Okay.
Wait, you did. You're fine.
It didn't
Or
taste
are
very
you?
good. It tasted terrible.
Something to keep in mind. Well, in the meanwhile, I will exude some sticky substance from my pores to help me climb down a bit and try to get Dante.
All right, so go ahead. This is going to be a roll. Let's do evade, cursed, and it's actually going to be risky.
Okay.
Because you're climbing down.
Yeah, cursed. I have both of those.
Wait, I remember when I ate one, they wriggled around really funny like this. So I'll assist with cursed.
Yay.
Uh-oh.
I used up all my luck last game.
So Malik, you start Spider-Manning your way kind of down the side of the sinkhole. You try to reach over towards the truck and kind of angle down the truck. And you don't realize that these things are just sort of moving with surprising alacrity. They're not just like wiggling around on top of each other. They're moving with purpose as they kind of weave out from these small sections between some of the paneling of the truck itself, as if it's already found their way inside. You can see bits of the spire black kind of beginning to drip out here and there. Not a lot, just a couple little tiny drips where they're kind of burrowing into the holes of the tanks. And they just begin to just drop into your hair. You feel one of them kind of get into your ear. And then at first it's gross and slimy, but then you feel the bites, one after the other, chunks after the other. This will be, we'll call this blood. And as you start to kind of flail around, like a whole chunk of them, you just sort of toss up into the air, and it just lands right in Esme's face and starts eating away in tiny bits of chunks. So you take the same thing. So both of you go ahead. Let's do. So let's do. I'll do my D12. I'll do it for both of you. Just do the same roll for each. So 7 is the fallout roll.
Okay, would we have kept our fallout from the our stress from the last session?
Stress, yes. Fallout depends what your fallout was. It's possible if it had a temporary thing on it.
All right. I am definitely higher than 7 for my total stress.
Okay.
Oh, it was 3 stress. Okay.
So you are higher than 7?
Mm-hmm. I've got
Malik, this is going to result in
3 and
major
3.
fallout for you. Okay, so
Esme's
right off
okay.
the bat, Esme's okay. All right.
Mhm.
So as you're climbing, maybe you slip as you're trying to swat it away, and you fall. And Lucius and Zenobe, as you're standing on the edge and you're looking as well, you just see he just almost like he's splashing into water. He disappears. That's how thick the bottom of this sinkhole is with worms. And Malik, you are currently we'll call it. We're gonna call it sort of.
I've got that nice exposed area of my spine and stuff too, so they can get in real deep.
Yeah, we're gonna call this bleeding, as they're kind of weaving their way in and just like ripping apart the chunks, And you're currently bleeding. So at the end of essentially every situation, so after this, you'll take more stress and more stress and more stress. But not like every round. Like after the end of like this sinkhole situation, you'll take more stress.
I've made a huge mistake.
And so you cannot. So Malik falls in, splashes, disappears.
Do I clear out old stress tracks after a major fallout, or I forget how that works?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah, you clear all stress. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
How far outside of Bleeding Hollow are we?
You are on the. You have just passed through the tunnels that connect to it. You are in your haven now, but you're on kind of the outskirts of the haven. You haven't yet reached the city proper. You know that
So
the
we're
meat
not-
tree is essentially the center, and then there's like factories and the smokehouse and the blood winery that are all kind of very near to the center.
Yeah, we're not currently on a delve then.
No, you're not. No.
Okay.
So right now,
All
Malik
right.
is swimming in worms. You don't even see him anymore. Dante is in the cab of a truck that is partially buried in these worms. What would you like to do?
I'll get the other truck. I'll back it up. We'll tie it to that truck. We'll pull it out.
That's not a terrible idea. Let's do that.
So I'll get in the cab of the other truck. I'll do the 11-point turn that it takes to back it up.
Okay. Could you just kick it in
I'll
reverse,
keep
maybe?
going.
Okay.
No. I got to do the 11-point turn. And I'm gonna get it right to the edge. And I'm purposefully gonna take it a little too far so that the wheels go over the edge and it hits the frame.
Okay.
Oh no.
So you're trying to accidentally nudge the
I'm
truck
making it
forward.
look accidentally, like I just went
Okay.
too far.
All right. Well, how about okay. Since you want to make it look like it's accidental, how about we do like a sneak, and I mean you're driving a truck, so we could say tech.
I'm
but we're
really
also-
bad at anything you
also
want me to do.
cursed.
It's not gonna matter.
Give it a roll. Give it a roll anyway.
Sneak cursed.
Sneak cursed or sneak tech. Cursed because it's your home haven, but tech if you want to use like. Because
All right, I have cursed. I do not have sneak. What's the difficulty here?
Just
Also,
it's fine.
I have a fallout the hard way. The next obstacle the group attempts to overcome is dangerous.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll apply that to whenever they try to get Dante and Malik out of here.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
So,
I'm just
So-
going for my beats. I swear.
so Esme and Lucius, you both see Zenobe. Somebody says, "I'm gonna, we're gonna tie it off. We're gonna whatever." Gets into the truck. Looks like they're trying to shift gears, trying to do this like curve and turn around, but at the last second, this, like the very edge of the bumper of the tank that Zenobe is driving just nudges into the front truck, and it just falls into the sinkhole.
Oh shit!
Well, I will react quickly and save Dante.
Okay.
I'm just going to use my once a session unorthodox methods ability.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to pull out my knife, cut a back ham, and throw that at the pits and have it expand to form like a trampoline barrier of butt meat
Okay.
to catch the truck and keep it from going in.
Okay.
I get a 6 on this.
Automatic? Okay, so
Automatic 6.
so you take the stress though? Okay.
I take the stress. Yes.
So it's a D6 worth of stress. It'll be blood since you are cutting a piece of yourself.
Oh.
All 6, buddies. Sorry, man. Fallout roll. It's a 1,
Yeah.
which is obviously going to work, but it's only minor since it's a 1.
Yeah, I had 8 blood, so
Yeah, let's just say bleeding. You just cut your leg. I don't want to be too redundant. But
Okay.
yeah, I think that makes sense. So it'll be at the end of this situation, you'll take D4. Malik, you'll take D6.
okay.
So the truck starts to fall, but then all of a sudden this trampoline of meat appears, kind of covering the top of the sinkhole a bit, and it kind of bounces back. And while it doesn't necessarily make the truck like not fall in the sinkhole, it doesn't make it submerge completely beneath the worms. It's sort
just
of like
enough to get Dante out.
Right. And so at that point, Dante, as you're kind of getting sort of thrown around, like there's chunks of worms coming in, and you feel suddenly the truck falling, but then it stops. You shake, and you can still look out the window, and you can see like there's actually, strangely enough, a path that kind of leads to the edge of the sinkhole itself. You could climb out if you wanted.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to try to climb out. So let's see here. I'll use the mining pickaxe to like help me like get around, like climb up.
Okay, yeah. Roll evade, and you can call it cursed again, but we'll say you can go ahead and, because of you're using specifically you're using the mining pick, you can take an extra d6. So give yourself like a temporary knack for it.
Okay, so now it's because of Zenobe, it's dangerous.
So I'm not sure how to rule this one, because Zenobe, we know, is not trying to really help here. So saying the group is trying to accomplish this, I'm not sure is accurate. But
that's fair. That's fair.
So we'll say no, just keep it normal, and we'll keep that one in our back pocket for when the group is trying to do something.
And can I use Haven because we're in Haven?
You know what? I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So it's not dangerous, just standard.
Yeah, standard.
In Haven and evade with an attack?
Yeah, because you're trying to avoid the worms.
I might have a chance here.
You do, in fact, get out. You step across the trampoline of butt flesh, and you can feel it sink. And as it sinks, it stretches to be translucent, and you can just see all of the worms just sort of weaving around. A few of them take that opportunity as it dips down to climb on top, but you quickly stab the pick into the side of the sinkhole. You start climbing up, and then eventually Lucius is there to kind of help you up the rest of the way, and you make it up to the top. You look back, and you see no signs of Malik currently.
Bye.
Where'd Malik go?
He's in the worms. We
There's
have to
kind of
get
like
him
just
out.
the T2 thumb sticking up out of the pool of worms.
I would try to get out of the truck and tie like a rope to the back bumper or something to throw down to Malik. I really don't want him to die.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
All right.
Mark a supply stress, we'll say, as you're using a lot of rope. So mark a little one supply stress. And you get the rope, and you throw the rope down into the sinkhole.
Grab the rope.
And so Malik, you're getting swarmed like crazy, but you hear suddenly the sounds of the dulcet tones of Zenobe screaming out, "Grab
The angelic voice.
And you like kind of reach around, and you're grabbing and you're grabbing and you're grabbing, but every time you're like squishing something until finally your hand grips something that doesn't feel like the outer slush of a worm, and you think it's the rope. You start pulling yourself up. Okay. I'm not gonna make you reroll because you're already bleeding and you've already taken damage from them. But say you get out, there's still chunks of worm in your hair and in your ears and in your pack and in your things. But you all see that right now the truck is intact, but it's on this partially kind of stretched out piece of flesh that Lucius has put there, but it's sunken down a couple feet into the sinkhole.
Hey, Lucius.
This?
I'm a little worried. I think I don't think the queen can be trusted.
She has been acting a little fishy with Zenobe.
She doesn't let me drive as much anymore.
I have noticed. At first, it was only to.
No, it's my turn. It's my turn. Hello.
Yeah. So, I mean, put Esme back in, please.
No, she is incapable of saving people from this. Our mission requires that we do this. And so Susan is going to look around for something that Susan can lower down for Zenobe and Malik and Dante? Are they all 4 down there? Or all
Everybody
3
has
down there?
gotten. Everyone's
Yeah,
out of the
we're all up
sinkhole at this
now.
point. It's just
Yeah.
the
Oh,
truck
okay.
that's still in there that is
So-
currently
Oh,
staying on top of the very, very overstretched skin that Lucius
Yeah.
dropped down there.
Yeah.
So, all right, someone get this thing tied up to that truck, and then that way we can pull it out. But while you guys are doing that, what I'm gonna do is, because I assume these things have some sort of hose that you would use to connect to like fill, because I'm imagining like
Yeah.
a gas tank.
Yeah.
So
of course.
what I want to do is like spray in this pit some Darkspire, then
Mhm.
like light a match and throw it in there, and
Mhm.
like kill a bunch of them worms. But I'm gonna
Okay.
wait until it's set it on fire until we're after we pulled the truck out.
Okay.
But
Alright.
so that's
This
the game plan,
sounds-
folks. Let's get this done. All right.
This sounds like a team effort, and so I think this might be dangerous. I think Zenobe's thing is
Yeah.
gonna tick into here. There's fire, there's sinkholes, there's potential explosions.
yeah.
This sounds like a dangerous moment. So we'll do 2 different rolls. We'll do one roll for whoever is like trying to back the truck out. Like don't worry about tying it, but trying to back the truck out, and then one roll for Dante to kind of sort of spray the oil appropriately and kind of get the sort of like not too much, but just enough type of deal. So if somebody wants to take the lead on trying to like tow the truck out, I think we're gonna call it.
Yeah. I'll drive. I'll just back.
you were inefficient at doing it last time. Allow
It's
it.
okay. I got it this time. I didn't realize the gas pedal sticks a little bit.
We understand how your technology works. It is much like our hive. We will do it.
Okay. So Esme, you kind of, whoever's helping out, kind of tie the lines. Esme, you get into the truck, and you start trying to sort of drive it out. Let's do a tech / I don't know, a evade is probably fine as you're trying to weave this out. And then Dante will treat this more like trying to time it well and trying to sort of not put too much of the spire block in. So we'll call it like a discern, and then you can either say tech or haven is fine.
So this
Okay.
is dangerous.
This is dangerous.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I will help you with evade.
So Malik is doing the classic, like, okay, this way. No,
Mhm.
no, cut it.
Mhm.
Cut the wheel. Cut the wheel. No, the other way.
But every now and then, like he's having to fling worms off of himself, so the hand signals are a little
Goes the
confusing.
opposite way. Yeah.
Zenobe's doing the motions as well, but he's going the complete opposite of what Malik does.
Oh God.
I'm flinging worms on Mount. Or,
So is
on
Zenobe
me, on
helping?
No, I'm
It
not
sounds-
helping.
no,
I'm
definitely not
hindering.
helping. But Malik is. Malik is. You can get the assist from Malik. Okay. So you do manage to.
Wait, it should have had 3.
It did roll 3.
Mhm.
I mean, I should have had 4. I'm sorry.
Okay, just roll another. It's fine. Just roll a d10. Okay, that will actually be a success because your other 2 you got a 9 and 8, so the 6 is a success. It's stress. It's with stress, obviously, but it is going to be successful. So we'll say on your way out, as you're trying to, like you're just the truck itself is just trying, and you hear the wheels kind of spinning and spinning and spinning, and eventually, like you get you get the other truck all the way up out of the sinkhole, covered in sort of all of these like worms and things that are all over the place, but like you don't time the brake quite right, and like right as the truck gets up, like the tether snaps and the truck just goes careening backwards, and you just back into one of these rubble buildings off to the side, and you kind of just you just crash, and so you'll take did I roll that already? Yeah, you'll take.
Oh yeah, we probably should have had someone in that truck.
You'll take 4. I think I just rolled that already. You'll take 4 points of stress. We'll call it. Maybe we'll call it like mind stress as you bang your head. You kind of get like a little concussion thing happening here, as you.
Ooh.
And then go ahead and Dante, you roll yours as well. So we'll say something like clouded. It will probably work. Oh wait, no. Let me roll to see if you actually got follow
Yep.
first. My bad. Totally forgot to do that part.
Yes.
Let's call it clouded. Yes, the 2 will definitely work.
Is it if you match or higher?
Equal to or under, I believe.
Okay, I have 2, so
Okay. So
more fallout.
So you will say maybe like as you're this way, that way, and one of that moment where you accidentally mark the other way, like you'll say maybe like you kind of get, you realize like the worms have fallen into your pack, and you have to like throw it down quickly, and they just like hurl off to the other side. And we'll say supply stress for you is like it looks like the worms have gotten to your pack, so 2 supply stress. And we'll call it. Yeah, we'll just say something is a resource you have is damaged, so just reduce its die size by 1.
Okay.
All right, Mike.
So-
Yeah, go ahead.
So Dante's going to look at Lucius and be like, I don't know if there's anything you can do to help, but if you pray and I spray, I think we can do this.
Very
Pray
well.
and spray combo. You got this.
I've heard of that combat tactic before.
So it's
Okay.
discern, haven, dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to go terribly, and I'm probably going to fail.
Yes.
It's a failure, yep.
So you spray, and then you get ready to throw kind of a lit, like maybe piece of parchment from a lantern in.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't realize that like you spilled some of the spire black on your hands, on your clothes, and so you suddenly just ignite yourself. Now you also throw, the paper eventually wafts around, like, floating around, and eventually lights up, and so the sinkle does burst into flames. But you are also burst into flames, and you're rolling around on the ground as you accidentally catch yourself on fire. You'll go ahead and take 3 points. We'll just call it blood since you're on fire, and then 4 on the fallout roll.
Yep, that's 4 exactly. So me a minor fallout.
Yeah, we'll just say, I would say you can quickly put it out, but we'll just say maybe you're furious at this point as you've set yourself on fire. The truck, you finally made it home. You crashed the truck. There's worms everywhere. The lights are not on, and now you set your freaking self on fire.
Yeah,
so I would
like
say
could this
Dante-
go any worse?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the good news is that you've got both trucks out. They're a little damaged. You've got a lot of fire going off right now in the sinkhole, suddenly giving you light of everything else around. And you can just see like hollowed out buildings. You can see buildings that are kind of being overgrown, it looks like, with chunks of like earth and rock that are kind of ripping up from the ground. And as the light like kind of shines out in this radius, you do see in the distance the meat tree, like just there's a little bit of flickering. You can kind of see it from the extra light that has now lit up this portion. But you also notice that in the darkness surrounding you, there's movement here and there. You see like something larger kind of slithering around here and there. And you have overcome this task. So Lucius and Malik, Lucius D4, Malik D6 as your bleeding kicks in at this point.
Oh, I take 4. Okay. Is that going to be ongoing or just this one time?
It is on. I think it's ongoing. Yeah, it's ongoing.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are bleeding out basically. So fire's up, both trucks are out, damaged, 2 people are bleeding. Dante just finished putting himself out on fire. Zenobe's trying to kill you, and Esme is like shifting in and out of who she actually is. What you guys like to do next?
I'll go ahead and roll this hose up, guys.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm gonna assume the hose is still somewhat near the fire. I'm just gonna go towards the truck and open the nozzle just to let it start spraying out spire black.
Okay. At any point, anyone is welcome to make a discern test versus a stealth test for Zenobe trying to do this. So if anybody, it would probably be on the lookout for like strange things at this point. You're welcome to roll discern versus a stealth test or a sneak test for Zenobe.
Definitely will, because
I'm not really trying to hide it, but I am trying to play it cool, like I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, roll Sneak Haven. or sneak tech, and then
Lucius
roll discern, and then same
Same Haven.
domains.
Yeah.
Haven or tech.
All right.
As he's trying to mess around with the truck a bit. Oh,
I had
Wow.
one die.
Oh no.
oh my! I have no idea what happens.
Crit action.
Well, if he only has
Oh,
one
tie.
dice, isn't it just a regular success?
Well, no, a 10 is a critical success. You rolled 10.
Okay. I thought there was a weird rule for if you only have one dice and you only succeed on a 10.
No, it's if you have less than
that-
one.
Yeah, that, and then it becomes
Oh.
difficult to
Yeah.
use the range, like
Okay.
everything's.
That's
like
what
the
that means.
difficult.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
As
Roll-
I'm
I don't know,
messing
roll
with this
again.
hose, I'm mouthing to Lucius. Suck it, Lucius.
Both of you roll again. I don't know the rules, so just roll again. It's fun. We haven't played in 4 weeks. I forget all the rules. Oh no, Lucius.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Success at a cost.
Zenobe, you managed to get over there. You managed to, like you say, like kind of suck at Lucius. You spray a bit, but a little of the like that paper that's still floating around with tiny bits of flickering fire kind of floating through the air, and just sort of land at some point on the back of your head where somehow some of the spire black has managed to drip down, and you don't notice right away that your hair catches on fire.
My hat.
Your hat catches on
I'm
fire.
wearing a big old wizard hat.
Oh, you are? Okay. So your hat
Yeah.
catches on fire.
Wonderful.
And I'll say we'll make it a supplies stress since it's specifically your hat. Take 3 points to your hat as your hat catches on fire. Supply stress. 5
I
on
have
the
4 stress, so
roll.
I'm good.
All right, you're good. You managed to catch it and put the fire out before it completely destroys your hat.
I throw it down on the ground and I just wring out my hair with that's always wet, so that water puts out the fire.
All right. So
Zenobe, Lucius. We should put this behind us. We should move on. We've had a very long journey. I'm sure your emotions are running rampant.
I'm very curious what it is that we're putting behind us.
Was I successful in setting the spire black hose on fire?
I think so. I think what's going to happen is like the fire, like I think there's enough people around that it probably won't completely explode the tank, but we'll
Yeah.
see. You all watch as like suddenly the hose itself catches on fire, but it's detachable, so someone can probably get to the.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Dante would
So
try
Dante,
to maybe amend on it to
Yeah.
fix it real quick.
Don't worry, guys. I got it. I got it.
I'll take that.
Emergency
There are other people within this haven. They can take over from here. It is obvious the 4 of you are in dire need to rest, relax, calm your weak mind,
What do you want
Your
us to rest?
your emotionally rattled brains.
Why do you want us to rest?
Hmm.
I didn't just spend literally weeks to stop now.
We're
We're
running.
gonna finish this.
We
and
can.
If I actually had more helpful people besides Malik. Malik is great. You know,
Malik is great. Yes.
if
'Cause
we
he's
actually had
covered
some
with worms
competent
biting
people
him.
here, this would be done. We'd be
No.
over, and I'd be on vacation.
I understand. The state that
I'm
you
really
all-
trying here.
I understand.
I'm sure you are.
Trying too hard. The
If you
state
could
we
just
are
stop, that'd be great. You know, if I don't know, time out, like just sit there, just do nothing. That'd be fantastic.
No. Let me fix this. I'll fix the hose. Don't
No,
worry.
Just stop right.
No,
just
please
stop right
step
now.
away.
Like Lucius has
Enough's
helping.
enough.
I mean, you know, he's great. Malik's great, but you really, I mean, if I could have 2 other people, 3, where'd the other one go? She's always disappearing. This is just bullshit.
There's something large
Fed up with
over by
this.
the meat tree that probably warrants our attention.
I agree. Let's head there.
Yeah,
Lucius,
let's all go.
As you look over towards the meat tree, you see the smokehouse. The smokehouse and the blood running
Mhm.
are right next to it. You see a light suddenly pass by the second story window of the smokehouse, as if somebody is like a lantern or a torch has moved past it. suggesting perhaps somebody is still here.
That is good news.
You know what? I could use a drink. Let's go there.
Yes, it'll be nice if someone's still here. They can tell us what happened.
Yeah, we'll leave them parked here so someone who knows how to drive can fucking drive them. But let's just get going.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
may
let me
move
just check
ahead.
the emergency brake real
No,
quick. I'll
I'm
catch
just
up
gonna
with
grab
you
him by the
guys.
collar and
Hey.
just start dragging him.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
be.
Wait, okay.
I'll move ahead.
Yeah.
I'll
All right,
search
let's
for
go,
any
bud.
signs of further sinkholes or anything of that nature. I'll search the grounds
Okay.
before we approach.
With having kind of like, so you're being very careful at this point. You're on foot, and you can kind of see there's cracks in the earth. There's like definitely still remnants of the old cobblestone streets and things. And while you don't see any like major like sinkholes like the one you just encountered along the way, you do see like little pockets here and there where when you look down, you see like a very small river of like worms or just moving about underneath. But eventually you do make it to the central square, and you can see there's the meat tree in a somewhat withered state. It still seems to be there. It still seems to be intact. However, it certainly looks as though it's seen better days. Also, as you get here and you sniff around Malik, it's rancid. Like you can tell like the meat has possibly started to go off a bit, as if no one has come to like prune it or trim it recently. You also see that there appears to be a light or two, a very faint light that you can see through the now kind of covered and what looks like smothered windows of both the smokehouse and the winery. Meaning like somebody has like rubbed like charcoal or something that kind of cover the glass windows, but you can see now that you're really close that both of them have faint lights coming out of them.
I'm afraid
Yes.
there's a chance that these worms have turned the tree.
I worry this as well. I mean, let's head inside. I mean, tending to the tree is a priority, but we need to. It's no use starting if it's just going to revert. Smokehouse.
Oh, I could fix that tree pretty easy.
You stay away from
I still
that
have you
tree.
collared, by the way.
No, I'm serious.
I'm like,
I really could.
Like walking you in the
Yeah,
direction.
I'm short enough that I'm just a couple inches off the ground.
Okay, so you go into, we'll say, the smokehouse, closest, open the door, and you see suddenly like people scramble to their feet as there are a dozen or more people in here. They're all kind of huddled around what looks like a small furnace. The light is kind of flickering from it. It's extraordinarily cold, and it's been cold the whole way here, but you can tell there's a tiny bit of warmth coming from in here. The staircases kind of go up. You hear the sounds of someone moving about, and like the second story planks are kind of sinking, and little bits of like dirt and dust trickle down. And a familiar face gets up and walks towards you all, and you see what looks like the face of Jamet, who is one of the workers who came and helped you when it came to the issue with Bashar, the kid that you saved. And then you also notice a kind of, moving over towards you, the chief smoker of the smokehouse, Nelson Williamson. And they both kind of approach you, and they're like, and Jamet is like, "You have returned at last. I knew you would return. I knew it was not a fool's errand. Others have said you have abandoned us. You have returned. Oh, and no time too soon. I'm so happy to see you." And she's like going around, like kind of grabbing you, almost like you guys aren't even real, like just kind of like sort of touching you, like, "Yes, it is you. It is you."
It is. We don't have much time, I fear. What has happened? Explain it quickly.
The worms. There are worms everywhere. They are here. We have seen them. First, they are the floors of homes. They broke down between, and people sunk into basements, and children animals first went missing, and then once the clues of the small ones, then the larger ones started appearing. And they started in the outskirts and worked their way in. They would swallow people whole. They are large as a man, 8-10 feet long, with hundreds of rows of teeth, eyes barely beneath some withered skin. We have heard rumblings as well, quakes of earth. Buildings have fallen. There is something larger moving about the ground. We have tried to defend the tree. We have moved all of those who are willing to stay here. And although we have not tended it, we have scared away any time one of the larger ones come. We shout and we throw sticks and fire. And they scatter. But they will come back in greater number each time.
I appreciate you doing what you can for the tree. This is a difficult time. So they are everywhere now, right?
Yes, it is. It is just the square. We have preserved the smokehouse and the winery and the meat tree. And that is all. Most other places. The factory was overrun as well. We did our best to preserve as many supplies as we could. We have stocked up within the winery as well. Others said that you would not return, and that we should cut the meat tree to pieces and relocate it, or we should feed it to the worms to placate them. But I said, and many others, we said, no, we will not be abandoned, and we shall not lose faith.
That is good.
So, I got a question. Besides me and Seamus, were there any other hounds here?
Yeah, you had a couple. I would say there's probably a crew of 6 or so. And as you ask that question, you kind of step into the door as this conversation is happening. You kind of hear someone shout, and like the footsteps upstairs start moving a little quicker, and you see coming down the stairs another one of the hounds. You're welcome to sort of come up with a name for him if you have, but you can see another one of the hounds kind of carrying this sort of long rifle. Looks like he has a lantern, and he kind of sees you, and he's just, "You are a sight for sore eyes, Dante. Things have gone to shit in your absence."
I would sure as hell say so, Jebediah.
Yes, I have done what I can, but we are outnumbered far beyond our capacity to fight back. I have kept them alive and safe, and we have kept them from consuming the meat tree, but it is just a matter of time.
Huh. I don't know if it'll help, but we got 2 big-ass trucks of Spire Black, so we can get things potentially back up and running a bit. But we're gonna have to do something about these damn worms.
Yes, we are. I am sure that the worms have sensed that we are without defenses and power, and the meat tree is at its weakest state, and it is taking advantage of this. Little by little, we fought. It held quadrant after quadrant of the city before. We could hold out no longer. There are perhaps 30 of us left. Some here in the smokehouse, others in the winery.
Would you say they act in a relatively intelligent manner, or are they fairly animalistic?
They are organized. They poke and they prod. They use distractions to lure some of us away, while in another section of town they attack. It's if they have something commanding them, or a network of intelligence.
A hive.
Yes.
They're superior beings.
That might be so. But if you shoot them, they die. The big ones you must shoot several times, but they go down as well. But they are much harder to kill, and we have lost many, both citizen and hound, in our attempts to fight them.
If you think perhaps there is a leader of sorts, I could try to discern its location. If it is a hive mind of sorts. But it will be aware that I do so.
She did mention there's a larger thing underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, we have felt the quakes, the shakes of the earth causes the buildings to fall, and we know it is not the small ones and even the adolescents who weave about. There is something greater coming, I fear. I have sensed it.
Well, we're back now. We're gonna help, and so that's something that it doesn't know about. And I got an idea. What we do, we go to the vintner. I mean, they probably haven't been making anything, but they got bottles. All right, we're gonna put some of the Spire Black in there. Put a rag in there. We're gonna create some Molotovs. And you know what? Anytime one of those things pop up, we're just gonna set the fucker on fire, watch it burn, and then add its corpse to the meat tree. And then hopefully
I
we
can do
kill
that.
enough of these sons of bitches that it draws out the big one. And then we're gonna kill that big one with even more fire. So I think we need to round up people and get this stuff going. Who knows how to drive a truck? Who knows how to get these factories started working? I'm tired of this.
I do.
No, you don't. You don't know shit. Shut up.
You see the kid, Bashar, that you all saved that one time. He come up, I can help get the factories up and running. I have worked there since I was a very young pup. I know how some things work. Many have fled or have been consumed, but I can help. I can. And you see he's like cradling that like chunky tunnel goat that he like kind of was hugging when you guys rescued him.
Do you have any desire for... Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Dante, do you have any desire for a diversion to try and pull the large one out?
Well, I figure when we want it, you can do your trick, it'll know, and then either we can go after it or it'll come after us. But one way or another, I think we need to prep, and then once you get some stuff ready, get these factories up and running, get the lights back on, it'll be a lot easier to see these things. And then, we just start taking them out, because obviously they're here to take us out, and it's a us or them thing, and, well, I ain't gonna be me. So this is my home, and I'm gonna defend it.
I agree. You know, Zenobe, there's a very good chance that they will destroy, possibly devour your tree in devotion to the drowned lady. Perhaps we should head to that farmstead to defend it. It'd be a shame for your gift to be wasted, for her glory not to be received.
Wait, they're gonna destroy the tree for the drowned queen? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's a very real possibility.
If they haven't
Heck,
done
they
so
might have already
already.
destroyed it.
And that's bad?
It's the tree that you planted.
If you're...
Oh,
honor
that
of
tree.
your
Sorry.
goddess.
I thought we were talking about the meat tree.
I don't think you care about the meat tree, but I think perhaps you do care
No.
about your devotion to the drowned queen.
That tree is vital.
I mean, it's a nice tree, but like, you know, she's kind of drowned. She doesn't look at many trees.
That tree is vital.
I think the trucks are more important. Let's get the trucks up here.
Which tree is vital?
The meat
I
tree
think-
and the tree to the drowned queen. In fact, I have a tree that needs to grow as well. It's the one we harvested together. As I point down towards the massive violet that is kind of a tree as well.
Well, there you go, Malik. You take Zenobe down to plant the tree there, and I'll go get the trucks.
Why are you so set on getting the trucks?
What? I'm not.
Okay.
We got experts to handle that, all right?
I'm just going to speak clearly. You're acting very suspiciously, and if you continue to do so, tensions will rise, possibly even lead to bloodshed. I would very much like to avoid that, hence I less than subtly tried to invite you to help me protect your tree. Out there, it's plainly out there now.
Okay,
I don't want
Malik,
you to
could
get
I-
hurt.
talk to you for a second privately.
Of course.
I like pull him aside. You know, we don't have to go to a different room, but just like have some space. All right. So Zenobe came up to me and told me she wanted to have an alliance. All right. And I said yes, but I didn't tell her that you and I were already going to have an alliance. Okay. So you and I, we're going to get to the final two. But here's the thing, we have to let Zenobe into the haven before we can get to the final two. You get what I'm saying?
We've always been an alliance, Zenobe. We're all in an alliance here.
Right. So we're on the same page.
I'm going to try very hard to keep you from getting hurt.
All right. So you go with Zenobe and go plant a tree, and I'll get the trucks.
I'm trying very hard to have faith that you serve a purpose here. I'm going to go do that.
Awesome. Break.
He's going to get killed.
So while that's happening, meanwhile, Nelson Williamson comes up to you all. And this says, you all look very much worse for wear. If you don't forget, if you need any, try to remember how to do a Russian accent. I am big pharma. I am big pharma.
I am big pharma.
I am big pharma.
Big pharma.
I am big pharma. If you need to eat something, there we go. It is there. Remember, I can. I have kept some of the smokes meat for you in case you need to heal. So don't forget that the smokehouse is in fact like you can still use it if you needed to haunt.
Oh,
it as a haunt.
definitely.
You can drop a resource to get rid of condition or
Yeah.
fallout too.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I would say Lucius and Malik, you would probably want to take care of your bleeding pretty quickly before it stacks up.
If you want, Dante, because I know you're injured and Malik, you are as well. Allow me to lead you in a small prayer, and the glory of the meat tree can resolve some of your injuries. Basically, I can get rid of a minor blood or mind fallout, or I can downgrade a major blood or major
Down
mind
to a minor.
fallout.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
We have seen you do this before. We would like to
Yes.
join.
Very well. All are welcome.
I would
Zenobe?
appreciate-
While they're all praying, I'm going to go outside.
Okay. Would anyone be keeping an eye on Zenobe and wanting to follow, or would you want to stay back and try to heal?
No, I failed my discern test earlier, so
Okay.
I know he's squirrely on something, but I don't.
I'm
I
just gonna
don't
yell after
necessarily-
him. Like, Snowy, where the fuck you going? Get
And the
back
door
here.
Closes.
We're still working. That son of a bitch.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
swear to God, by the
anyone-
end of the day, I'm gonna either shoot him or put him in jail or bury him. I don't know.
Anyone who wants to join into the prayer, like I said, mind or
You know what?
blood.
Fuck it. I'm going after him, even though I
Okay.
should probably stay here.
Jeff, my prayer also adds a D4 to the Del's difficulty.
Okay. I'll keep on that,
Or
and if we
Del's
do like
resistance.
if we do any sort of like complex endeavor thing, we'll add it to
Okay.
that. But yeah. All right. So Dante, you run after Zenobe, so you don't get the benefit of the healing. But anybody else can go ahead and take the benefit of Lucius's healing. Malik, you had the major bleeding, so you can downgrade that to a D4, and then if you want, you can give over a resource to the smokehouse to clear it out entirely.
Is it a D6 for minor fallout?
Yeah, it should. I think it's a D6.
Okay.
That's what I was looking up, but it should be a D6.
Okay.
All right, so I can get rid of my clouded.
Yes, you can get rid of clouded. As you're like you've been, not so much like you've been like your head's been sort of ringing. Like your thoughts are kind of confused. Maybe maybe Esme's voice is popping in or Susan's voice. Like they're cloudy. They're kind of like fighting more than normal or something like that. But with Lucius's prayer, and you can see everybody else there begins to sort of kind of go along with it. This moment where Lucius kind of stands out, leads this prayer. Everyone kind of bows their head in reverence. You see a few others kind of come up, like after the prayer, they kind of reach out to Lucius and they're like, we are so thankful that you have returned, Father Lucius. You can lead us. We, and you see they kind of look around. We, please forgive us, but we broke into your home. But for good reason, we retrieved your writings. And you see they just sort of like unfold all of these like different like scribblings and writings maybe you had packed away. We have read through them. We are believers in you. You will lead us. You, above all.
There is always room for more to walk the path of the fleshed tree.
Yes.
I would be happy to take you into the fold and teach you more.
Yes. And you see eyes like bright. I would be overjoyed to serve you. Yes, whatever it is you need. Father, he kind of like bows in sort of this reverence. I am but your servant.
That's very well. I'll point out a few passages and things that they should really kind of dig into, and I want you to very closely watch the tree, and if anything starts happening, alert me immediately. But in the meantime, definitely review these.
Yes.
And when we return from the task at hand, we can sit down and I will explain more.
I will commit it to memory. Yes.
Yes.
So they sit back down. They pull out their, it's just sort of, you can see a drow of probably mid-20s or something like that kind of sit down, wild, kind of crazy eyes, and they start just poring over all of these different writings and things that they managed to scavenge for you.
Good.
Okay.
There's a beat.
We require assistance. What happens to Esme's skin, we cannot repair. But we do not have anything to give. We are lacking.
What do you need?
Something to give so that these wounds that fester may be treated. As Susan points to the buboes covering Esme's skin.
I'll gladly donate the tech beast pelt.
And you see Nelson Williamson brings out more of the special smoked meat that he has kept preserved, or the smoked sauce, or that you can smother on the various buboes and get the blistering to die down.
About how long has it been since the worms incident?
Probably within an hour. Let's say the conversations you're having here and there within an hour.
Lucius, it seems you now have a flock to tend to. You should shield them from harm as well as yourself. I would recommend that you take this protective plating from that horrid beast earlier. Apparently my heart's blood will not allow me to use its ability in a mechanical sense. It's basically a shield.
Oh, are you all okay?
Yes, we're quite well, Esme. Thank you so much for asking.
Esme, you are back.
From outer space?
Yes, back from outer space. That is quite good. Tell me very quickly, what is Susan doing?
Well, you know how sometimes bad things happen and it doesn't seem to affect me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's why. As she just like takes out something sharp and just like opens up a portion of her skin and peels it back, and you see no blood come out, and like you see just wax and honey flowing underneath, or the blood honey from the tree, but like as the bees are constantly gathering nectar and stuff. So, I don't think I'm long for this world. And then that part of her body, like the bees start coming out and swarming it and putting it back together.
Hmm.
But everything will be okay. It'll be all right.
It will be.
Don't worry about me at all. I'm good.
You are very good. And endings are not truly endings. They're simply avenues to new beginnings. And you've planted the seeds for something great.
Speaking of that, there's this as she holds out the violet tree sapling.
Why does the queen want to plant that?
Well, I mean, it's a good source of nectar, right? Like, can't live on blood alone.
Where does she want to plant that?
You remember my favorite place
Yes.
where it has those purple flowers?
Yes.
Well, that's where we would both like to plant it.
That makes me feel better. Do you know of anything?
She hasn't said why, but I mean, I think it's pretty.
That's good enough.
Yes.
But
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing Dante went with Zenobe.
What can you tell me of Zenobe?
I don't really know. It's like I see while Susan's driving, but not in a way that I can understand. Like, it's like if you had like millions of eyes, you know, like you'd have to have a whole bunch of brains working together to understand it. And I just see all these flashes of images and sounds. And Susan doesn't have any emotions, so it's hard to tell, like, if Susan likes him, Susan hates him. But I see flashes of her and him talking. I don't know what about, though. It doesn't, like, he was nice to her, genuinely nice, not like the joking, like, that we have amongst each other. That's how I know he likes me, because he jokes with me like we're not friends, but we all know we really are. But you know, he's acting nice to her. I don't think he has good intentions for her. Like, I think he's going to try and kill her, which would kill me.
That's good to know.
It might want to protect her from him.
We can do that.
All right, why don't we cut then to Zenobe leaving. Dante, you're following. Zenobe, are you trying to be evasive at this point as you hear the sounds of like the door closing again behind you?
There was like 30 seconds before Dante decided to follow, right?
About that, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be enough time for what I was going to do.
Okay.
Zenobe would have shut the door and then just ran to the nearest clearing, like where there aren't trees or roofs or anything like that.
Okay.
And he would just take off his hat in this burning rain, and he would lie down on his back, and he would just tilt his head to the side to let the rain just like hit as much of his face as he can. And he's just lying on the ground. So Dante, you'd be able to come out and see him just lying on the ground. And every time the rain kind of hits him and sizzles a little bit, he mouths some sort of...
We lost you there. Mouths some sort of what?
Oh, sorry. He mouths some sort of word that you can't make out.
So Dante's going to walk outside and... What the hell are you doing? If you wanted to lie down inside. It's much more comfortable, and there's not acid rain going on outside. What are you doing? Come on now.
I'm trying to listen. Be quiet.
Listen to what?
The rain
I'm ignoring him.
increases, like almost localized to the point where it was just an occasional like droplet. Now it becomes like a modest drizzle. And it's landing, and every time it hits the ground, Dante, you see like a little like a sizzle, and like the ground, either whether it's cobblestone or earth or something like that, you just see like a small little bit of fumes come up from it. And anytime it hits you, and I'll say it's not yet to the point where it's gonna like damage you in terms of stress, but you can see it kind of getting to that point. It's kind of starting to cover you. It's hitting your arms and your pack and things like that. Not only that, but you see stuff beginning to surround this clearing. You see stuff moving around in the darkness. This sort of big reflective side of what you assume is one of these larger worms they've been talking about.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna have my gun out.
Oh yeah.
Now then. Does the smokehouse have like an awning that I can stand underneath?
I would say yes, but if Zenobe's running for a clearing, it would probably not be particularly close to where Zenobe is. It's like this.
Okay.
Yeah, there's probably a little distance.
I mean, I'm gonna take cover. One,
Yeah.
because now that there's a threat out there, and two, because the rain.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna be like, Zenobe, there's something out there. Are you trying to be bait? Because you're doing a good job of it.
Please shut up. I'm listening.
I'll be quiet then, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for one of them worms. And when it eats Zenobe, I'll make a decision then on whether or not I just let it.
So you stand on the awning, and you're just watching from a distance, and you're no longer in danger from this drizzle. And the minute you started moving away from where Zenobe was on the ground, you can already feel it getting lighter and lighter, just occasional droplet. But as you look out, and there's not a ton of light at this point where Zenobe is, they're kind of in the darkness, but we'll say you have a lantern out and cast maybe like a 50-foot shadow, or 50-foot bit of light. You just hear like the powder of rain, and you can see that it's getting heavier and heavier, and it seems to just sort of be soaking Zenobe in this localized, small, maybe 10-foot radius downpour that is just drenching Zenobe now.
I mean, if he wants to die, Dante is mad enough to let him die. So if he wants to get himself dissolved or eaten, I mean, that's one less thing I have to babysit.
Okay. All right. It doesn't seem to, like, the water crushing on him doesn't seem to actually be adversely affecting him. You're not sure about the snakes, though. Or not snakes, the
Yeah,
worms.
that's why I'm more paying attention to the snakes than him getting rained on.
Okay. You do see, we'll say, as you're watching the shower kind of occur, you do see this maybe about a 15-foot long, kind of reddish orange creature begin sort of poke its way out of the shadows. And it starts to kind of very tentatively get closer and closer to where Zenobe is. I'll give you I was playing around with some Mid-Journey, something like that.
Oh, nice.
And you see it just sort of kind of coils around, but it doesn't seem to attack. When the water kind of drops, you see it kind of pull back and reflect a little bit, like kind of, again.
Does it seem to be affected by the rain at all? Like, does it seem to be annoyed?
It looks more like it's being cautious as opposed to it being hurt.
Okay. Yeah, because I'll basically kind of study it, like, because if we're gonna hunt these things, then yeah, I'll just watch it then.
Okay. All right. So it just seems
Kind of like how it's
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, and if you're just sort of watching it, it just continues to circle, kind of investigate. You see a second one kind of come out as well, sort of do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then after maybe a good 4 or 5 minutes of them just sort of investigating, they sort of drift back into the darkness. And you also notice that the water it just stops, just instantly, like whoosh, done, like someone just turned off a spigot.
No!
I mean, Dante smirks. But
Zenobe just screams no when the rain stops.
Okay. So since you're screaming, I would say those of you inside the Bleeding Hero can hear like the distant sound of like Zenobe shouting.
Go immediately.
Go outside. Lucius, you look around. You see Dante hanging out underneath an awning on the back of the smokehouse. You see this small raised clearing that is just soaked in water, and you can see like vapor from like where that sort of acidic bits has kind of just sifting up into the sky a bit more. And you see like Zenobe kind of thrashing around a little bit here and there, like screaming. And you see like the last like bits of like the tip of the rear of a worm disappearing into the darkness beyond.
Yeah, Zenobe's kind of like throwing a tantrum like a 2-year-old in a grocery store.
Seeing Dante there not acting definitely makes me feel better. So yeah, I'll go up to Dante and what the hell?
I was kind of hoping he'd be eaten, but I don't know. He was just laying there, and there were 2 of those big old worms, about maybe like 15 footers. They circled him, but they never ate him, so that's unfortunate. But you know, it's interesting. They're definitely not dumb. So tricks we use, they may not work more than once or twice before they get wise to them.
So Zenobe's been acting odder than normal for a while. Do you think these worms might have something to do with his drowned queen?
I mean, I would think the place would be flooding if it was something to do with his drowned queen. I mean, she don't seem like that much of a mean god, an invasive god. I don't know.
I agree. She did help out Malik, so
yeah, like
What
I
we're
think
seeing here does not feel in line with what I saw in the temple Zenobe invited me to.
do you think that he's just been oxygen deprived for a little too long, 1 or 2 times, or he's
definitely has
come
brain
under?
damage.
Yeah,
I mean, you
or-
guys said the guys fucked with his head, right?
that is true. They did.
I wasn't there for
yes.
that, but they jacked into it, right?
Well, I wonder if this is lingering behavior from that.
I don't know. But
At that point, Zenobe just abruptly stops his tantrum and lies incredibly still for a moment before just sitting straight up, standing up, and walking towards him.
Well, I think it's only going to get stranger. Esme, if you want to plant that, we need to do it very soon.
Yes, I would love to. Let's go.
I'll try to make it as quick as possible.
all right, just keep an eye out.
I will. If Esme doesn't have much time, I'd very much like for her to get some pleasure before that time comes.
I will definitely attend. I would like to be there for her on this.
Oh,
Dante,
should we all go?
I think so.
Dante,
What?
would you go with me to get the truck?
I don't know how to drive the truck. That's the whole problem of us following him.
I'll drive the truck.
You
just hang out with me. You
We're
be
gonna-
my
We got guys
co-captain.
in there that know how to drive. We're gonna get.
All right, I'll
them,
get the truck, and I start walking towards the
the
truck.
posse. I mean, fuck.
He's awfully focused on those trucks. Maybe it's not a bad idea if you accompany him.
I mean, I'm going to, but yell inside for anyone who can drive a truck to come, and then that kid, what's his name? Fuck, I can't remember.
Bashar.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zenobe goes over to the truck. Malik, Esme, and Lucius, I know, are trying to make their way to the like special grove where Esme wants to plant. Dante, are you going after Zenobe, or are you going with the rest of them?
No, I'm going with the trucks.
Okay, so you follow Zenobe again. Malik, if you're leading the way, roll Hunt, and you can do Haven, or you can do Cursed. As you try,
do Hunt and Cursed.
yeah, go for it. As you try, and it's actually going to be risky as you guys are plunging into the darker, colder parts of the Haven that have already been overrun.
Okay. Okay, I've got Hunt. I've got Cursed.
We will assist you.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check. I might have. No, I don't have mastery on that. Where did that go? Okay, Esme's assisting and go.
Susan is.
Oh, sorry.
Should have made a Susan character sheet too.
Should have.
How'd you do? Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Success.
Okay. Your memory serves you well, although the terrain is somewhat familiar. Definitely the rupturing of some of the earth, the destruction of some of the buildings has made it a little bit more difficult to navigate. More than that, you find more than a couple more of these larger sinkholes where clues of worms, these small worms, seem to be, which you think are just eating away at like tunnel goats, possibly people, or possibly just whatever sort of construction material has fallen in. More than once, you see something larger slithering about in the darkness, but, you throw a light or, a rock or make a large sound. It kind of seems to keep them at bay temporarily. And eventually, you make it to the small clearing, Esme, where you've kind of done some planting before. And although it is very, very dark here, and although you're certain there are things surrounding you and kind of watching this happen, you are here.
Okay. So because of my Hex Eye minor echo that I still have, once per session, I see something useful. Ask the GM what it is.
So you tell me what you're trying to accomplish, and I can tell you what might be useful.
Okay, so Susan will bend down and start digging out the earth with her hands, and will plant this violet tree. And then Susan will take a look around for any threats to this tree, as Susan is concerned with how how far away it is from anything else.
Yeah, you notice as you're done planting, and almost instantaneously, once you finish pushing the dirt back over top of where you planted it, you see 3 of these large 10-foot, 15-foot long sort of, they have eyes, but the eyes are kind of grown over with this translucent membrane, begin coming from these different directions and enclosing upon the area. The useful thing you see is that there appears to be someone has left what looks like a cart of which you think is probably fertilizer in the area, ignitable, combustible in some fashion, and it's likely been abandoned and doesn't seem as though anyone's actually used it in any way. It doesn't look as though the worms are too interested in it either.
You see that over there? As Susan will point directly towards that cart.
Yes.
That can be used to help feed this tree. Can also be used to become something flammable should we need it.
Very well.
That presents a very interesting question then. What do you choose?
A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We do not need to use the entire cart on a little bit of food for this tree. You can use a little bit, get the tree operating, take the rest back.
Sounds
Very
good
well.
to me.
Moderation in all things, including
is-
moderation.
This is cause for celebration. I understand that celebration is great for people with emotions morale. I would like to assist with this. As Susan, where is it? Susan has pheromone glands that pucker and blossom on her wrists and neck, and she starts talking to you and saying, now, even though it can cloud the judgment, it can also be a great source of survival to give in so that you can get through a traumatic experience. For with us, whenever something is possibly traumatic, we use us as sacrifices, whereas you only have one of you. So give in to your desires, your basest impulses.
No.
This will carry you through.
No.
And these pheromones start coming off of her. As she's just essentially trying to give you two a sense of joy.
No. I don't trust it. I run.
So Lucius, you bolt. Probably back to the meat tree or
Yeah.
Okay, so you just start running.
Yeah.
Malik, you linger, and you can see at this point now the heads of those worms have now breached into the sort of the clearing, and they are almost on top of you and almost on top of this plant. The pheromones have been released. You just see Lucius break off. What does Malik do?
I'm going to focus on the reason I'm here. And as those eyes come up out of the ground, I'll plunge my claws into them.
Okay. So this is going to be risky, cursed, and obviously you can go ahead and use kill as your skill.
Okay, cool. I've got check an ability I just got recently.
Mm-hmm.
Spite. Oh, it's once per situation. I can use horrendous bite once per situation.
This is a new situation. Go for it, yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that. So you said risky. Horrendous bite will let me once per situation take something down a difficulty, down to standard at best.
Yes.
So I'll do that. I'll take it back down to standard. Do kill. And then was it cursed? I'm sorry.
Yeah, cursed.
Okay.
You notice that some of the swarm from Susan is attacking this worm, as Susan will assist with kill.
All right.
Excellent.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead. You get the assist die from Esme or Susan, excuse me. Malik, go ahead and roll. All right, success at a cost. So you kind of trudge over. You find the one that's closest. Its head begins to kind of rear back, and as it lifts, you see its mouth kind of open sideways, and almost like 1,000 small teeth erupt, and it looks like it's going to try to encompass you, almost like it's a lamprey. And you see the eyes beneath that translucent membrane kind of flicker, and you can see they try to dilate at the same time. And you just lunge forward, and it manages to clamp down on you as you lunge at it. What kind of damage are you doing here?
It would be blood damage.
No, I mean like amount. Sorry.
Oh, I only do a D4, but it's penetrating. It ignores any sort of armor.
Okay. All right. Yeah, these do actually have protection. So yeah.
So I do a whopping 1 point.
You do manage to come up and you slash through it, and like you can see a cut underneath that vertical mouth, and a little bit of this strange kind of greenish blood, like a sort of sea green blood, begins to spill on out. But then it chomps down on you in return. You can go ahead and take. This is a D6 for them. Did it roll?
Mm-hmm.
What did it roll? 3 stress as it chomps back down on you. And Fallout 11.
No.
What kind of stress
it's
is
equal
that?
It's equal to or under, I think, right? Yeah, it's equal to or under. I always forget. I always go the opposite way. But it's equal to or under, so like how much stress do you have?
I'm currently at 1 blood stress.
Okay.
Right, so it's blood.
The bite, yeah, is blood, sorry.
Yeah, because I got to take it too. So
Okay.
And no, I'm under 11 total.
Sorry, I'm just checking something really fast. So yeah, the current total stress marked against the character is if the result of the d12 is equal to or lower. Okay, so you both are fine. Okay, just check. All right. So does this make a sound like when you do anything? Like, is it something that Lucius would be able to hear as he's running away? I know like gunshots would go off, but do you think there's something that would sound?
I would imagine it's a fairly like, because I figured the like horrendous bite is legitimately like he plunges his claws into it, and as it's biting down on him, he bites back into its face and wrenches until something cracks.
Okay.
And that's why it goes from risky to simple. He's cracked something within it.
All right. So you are essentially locked in a melee with this one worm, as another one kind of comes out of the darkness, seems to be going for the tree that was just planted, and a third one kind of seems to be coming out now and going towards Esme, as now 3 are beginning to surround you. Lucius, you're running away back towards the meat tree. Okay, you get a little flecks of that sort of salty water dropping on you from time to time.
Yeah.
Gets in your eye here, and you have to rub it. You kind of get a little lost as you're trying to navigate. Go ahead and roll a hunt cursed or a hunt haven as you try to find your way back without Malik to lead the way. Okay. Yeah.
Nate, yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe you don't go the exact same way back, and you have to rub your eyes a few times, but eventually you'll make it back. We'll kick over to Dante and Zenobe, who are already doing stuff while all of you left already. So let's go ahead and resolve what happens, and so then we can say what it looks like when Lucius returns. So Zenobe, you go and get the trucks. You enter in the trucks. You climb on in one of them. Or do you do something else?
I want to be as efficient as possible to get these trucks up to town and get the Spire Black unloaded and dumped out whatever tank we got to dump it into.
Okay.
Operating peak efficiency, not trying to mess anything up.
Okay, great. Sure. We'll do a montage. We'll do one roll. We'll do a tech, and then I'll say you could do something like maybe discern, or even mend would probably be all right. And Dante, if you wanted to help us, you see Zenobe is like all business suddenly.
Yeah, I can assist with mend if you do that, but
Okay.
I don't have discern. But
If you're helping,
I mean, he's taking it
yeah,
back.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like with that
I heard an
kid
assist, so
and-
I rolled for him. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So Dante, you're following, and you see Zenobe almost like hustling at this point, like jogging ever so slightly,
Yeah.
giddy up in his step. Gets over, climbs into one of the trucks, and you hear as it kind of thumbs into, it's like hums into action, and it starts driving in your direction. So like maybe you grab on to the side as it kind of like you're a garbage man. And
I figured we were taking 2.
if you wanted to, I thought I wasn't sure if you knew how to drive because you had.
Oh yeah, I guess I don't know how to drive,
Yeah.
so we'll take the 1. Okay,
Okay.
and then I'll make sure the kid holds on too. Like I hold on to the kid.
And so as you're running past, like just before that, you're shouting out. You're like, Bashar, get your ass out here! And you see the kid kind of running out, like, yes, they're kind of carrying the tunnel goat. And he's like, stay here, and he throws it back inside, and then chases after you, and like you kind of pick him up, and you guys drive off towards the factory, which isn't, again, not very far at all from the center of town. And we'll say that as you get there, you can see that the factory itself is intact. You actually don't see any structural damage to it. It looks like the walls, the ceiling are intact. But when you get to the doors, you can see they're open. You kind of push them open a bit, Dante, and you look inside, and you can see there's just hundreds of these small clumps of worms just everywhere. They're just falling down from the rafters. Somehow they got up there. You see them digging up out of the ground. You see a few of them just like trickle down onto your forehead as like you pull the door open. And they're just, as far as like the whole place seems to be moving. It's like this moving floor, moving wall. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, you hook up the hose. I'll back the truck up.
Okay.
So
Yeah, what do we need to do?
So Bashar gets out and like he kind of directs you over towards this big old drum, and you see like this is where like the connections are, and you have to unload the oil into this big old drum that sort of runs these heavy duty pipes, which again look to be relatively intact, back into the factory itself. And he kind of gives you these instructions. Okay, you got to turn that valve this way, turn that valve that way. Watch the pressure gauge, make sure you can't go in too fast, or else it might explode. And as you're doing that, you see weaving out from behind the drum one of these 15-foot worms. It kind of rears up. Side of the same thing I described with Malik, that kind of vertical mouth begin to open wide. And it looks ready to kind of snap at you as you're kind of fixing the hook inside. Meanwhile, Zenobe is backing the truck up in your direction. What do you want to do, Donnie?
We're like, all right, kid, you got this. You know what you're doing better than I do. As
I gotta fight that thing?
I mean, I kind of hope it does. As I'm gonna stare at that thing.
Okay.
Okay, because I actually have a stare down ability.
Mm-hmm. You can see eyes behind that thin membrane too, yeah.
And I can scare things that shouldn't be able to be scared.
Okay.
Like I've got the legendary stare. All right. Like actually, it's a thing I got.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a D6 kill ranged. So I'm gonna stare this thing down.
Okay.
And do like kind of almost like a mental attack, as I'm gonna be like, "Do it, punk. Make my day. I want to kill something.
Dirty Harry and the worm."
Oh yeah.
Stare it down. All right. So this is a kill D6. So you roll kill. It's gonna be cursed. And if it's successful, and it is risky, as these things are risky in terms of their danger level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would do kill, and then since it's hunt, I'm like, you've made a mess of my town. I'm gonna run you all out. I don't know who your boss is, or if you can even think, but you better get running now.
Okay, go ahead and roll. It's private. I don't see it.
Lost that 0, 1, and 3, so that's a failure.
Okay. You stare it down, and it's like that moment where someone's trying to like mesmerize a cobra in a basket, and they're just you're screaming at it, and you just see its eyes almost kind of go downcast. It kind of begins to lull, almost like it's ashamed. And then right as you think it's about to reach back down to the ground, it snaps out, just this lightning fast snap, and just closes down those 1,000-tooth jaws right on top of you. So it'll be a D6. 1 point of blood as it's.
Don't take any.
Okay, and you're fine. Okay, we'll kick over then towards back over towards the clearing, where Malik and Esme now are in a battle. There's 3 of these things. Malik, you're wrestling with one of them. Esme, one of them's coming for you. Another one is coming for the plant. You two have been left alone. What do you two want to do?
The one that's going for the plant, Susan will immediately release the swarm on it.
Okay. So you just let it go as the other one just kind of closes in on you, begins to coil around. You ignore your own, and you just let the swarm go. All right. So remind me how that works again.
I just need to make a kill test.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difficulty and the
Cursed
domain?
Cursed is a domain, and then the difficulty is risky. Anything you try to do against these guys are risky unless you have something like Jeremy.
I took it down to standard.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right.
That's what the horrendous bite
That's
does.
for okay.
Okay.
I helped the team.
Yeah, you did.
I'm trying so hard to help the team.
Just trying to keep everyone
So
together.
You hear this horrendous buzzing.
All right. Roll damage.
Okay, and at that point in time, like as like bee after bee just like flies straight into this thing, Esme, while being coiled around, like points at it, and you like see this flash of light come out of her head and go towards this worm's brain in the form of like a spike.
Mm-hmm.
As that ability upgrades it to a d6.
All right, nice.
Nice.
And I can now replace the spread tag with the piercing tag.
Okay, so it'll bypass the protection. These actually do have protection, so that would come into play here. All right, so 4 more. All right, I'm doing the same thing I usually do, and I just kind of pool there, and once you kind of whittle it down, this thing is like you can see the swarm has gone around it, and it's starting to trying to sway and move. You can see it's eating away, like little punctures in its outer slender membrane erupt, and you see that green, like sea green colored blood just pour on out and just splash on the ground here and there, and it's struggling, and it's deterred it from going towards the plant, and the swarm is still around it. Malik, what would you like to do?
Looking at a couple of abilities here that would actually stack nicely. Seeing as I did a horrendous bite, and I've just got a huge mouthful at the moment, do you think I could fairly say I swallow a chunk of it?
Of course.
Is it fair to say these things are likely cursed?
These are, in fact, cursed, yes. Very much so.
Wonderful. Then I would roll the dice if I needed to, but I only need 1 point.
Okay.
I heal my 1 point of blood stress.
Okay.
I gain an additional point of my heart's blood armor, and I gain the brutal tag for my attacks.
Oh my.
As I go into a frenzy.
And you want to, I assume you're going to repeat and just continue to wail away on this one?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kill.
Just now with additional fervor.
Yeah, kill, curse, extra die, brutal tag, so you get to roll twice on your damage die.
Kill, curse, mastery.
Jeez.
Okay. You can roll your damage die twice.
Yes. Take joy in this.
Okay, so it looks like one of them was a 3. Yeah. Or you just roll it twice.
It's a crit, so you get. Well, actually, since you're brutal tag, that's right. So you can roll. Roll 2d4 2 times, and then take like the 2 highest rolls.
Okay, so we got a 3 on the first one, and then a 4 on the second. So 7 total.
7 points. So describe how you kill one of these.
I mean, not to completely rip off a Wolverine thing, but it is a Berserker barrage where it's tried to swallow him, and Malik just lets it swallow him, and he just shoves his arm into its mouth, grabs into the belly, and pulls outward until it's ripped in half for the most part, and then throws the other half at the next one.
And it just, half the carcass just flops over top of the one that's kind of being swarmed by the bees. The other half, like, you just throw the other way, and it's kind of smacks into the one that's coiling around Esme, and there's just an eruption of this like sea green blood everywhere. I'm gonna go over to Lucius. Lucius, you hear the sound of Dante, like this powerful echoing voice suddenly coming out over by the factory, and you're running towards the meat tree area, but you hear the sound of Dante. Do you follow that?
I would veer off. Yeah, I would go that direction.
And as you do, you see this creature just clamp down, and suddenly the torso of Dante is like obscured as he's bitten by this thing. As it recoils back, he's over by this tin drum. You see Bashar off to the side, fiddling with some sort of some like the connections, and you see Zenobe in the truck, backing the truck up into position. What would you like to do, Lucius?
I'm going to try and help Dante by this giant thing that's biting him. I'm going to try and stab it in the eye.
Okay.
I do have my cool shadow Avatar of Shadows ability. So, yeah, I'm going to activate that by rolling an Endure Religion test. And if it does, all my attacks, including melee, have the extreme range tag.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. Roll it up. Extreme range. You can stab it from extreme range.
Yeah, I
go gadget arm stab.
Right?
That's dope.
That's very cool.
Endure Religion.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Success.
Yeah, so that activates. I'm mark this thing as my target. I get a knack relevant to fighting this thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to stab it from 1,800 feet away.
Go ahead. Yeah.
This is a kill and cursed.
Cursed. Yep.
And I have a knack for it, so I'll click mastery.
Okay. Success at a
Okay.
cost. So,
Okay.
so what does it look like? Describe what an extreme range stab looks like.
I like to think it's like shadow portals
Mhm.
kind of thing. Like I just stab into the nearest shadow, and then my knife just appears out wherever I want it to stab.
Yeah, and Dante, as this thing reels back from you, you suddenly see an arm come out from the shadows and just jabs a blade right into the back of the head of this creature, and it goes, and like sea green blood just spills everywhere. We'll say that I think because this is happening at range, it's not going to be blood. Maybe we'll do like an echo. Something happens
Sure.
as you
Yeah.
retract your arm that kind of goes a little sideways.
Yeah.
So we'll do 3 points of echo stress.
Okay.
And then your fallout. 12, you're probably good, right?
I'm good. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So we'll say Dante and Zenobe, you're both able to do something at this point. Zenobe, the truck's backed up. You can hear the pumps kind of going off, unloading the Spire Black oil into the drums. Bashar is like kind of giving you this thumbs up. You see Dante fighting. You hear the sounds of him shouting this thing down. So Zenobe, Dante, both of you can do something as well.
Dante's going to use the opportunity to like kick this thing so to get a little distance, and
Sure.
then bring up the rifle and then shoot it in the face.
Okay. So as this thing is like reeling back from the knife stab from the shadows, you kick it. It kind of stumbles a little bit back. You take a few steps, pull the gun up, you fire. Go right ahead.
All right. So it's risky, right?
Yeah, these things are risky. I think anything by where Malik is will probably be downgraded. That's fine. But yeah, anybody who's not with Malik, we'll say, is still
Okay.
dealing with the risky.
So yeah, we'll roll. Womp womp.
Okay.
Risky, that just keeps killing me.
And so you go to fire, but this time it's not so much you hit it, but your gun, like maybe your hand is still bleeding from where it bit you. Your gun kind of slips, and the bullet just kind of goes right into the drum. And for a second, there's panic, but instead it's just sort of like a ricochet, and it goes down into your foot. And we'll say you just kind of accidentally shot yourself in the foot off a ricochet. So
It's the kind of day that Dante's having.
5 points of stress is your foot just rolled.
Oh,
5 point of
no.
blood stress.
We'll call it blood. Is shoots you right in the foot. Blood.
Okay, I take 2.
Huh.
Okay, well,
Oh,
that's probably the
man.
best place for it then. Okay, yeah, blood stress. 11 on the fallout roll.
Okay, I'm good. I
All
just
right.
got the 2.
Zenobe, you hear the gunshot go off. What do you want to do?
Shit. So the truck is in position and like it's being unloaded right now.
Actively, it is being pumped out into the drum.
Okay. I put it into gear going forward and I floor it.
Okay. Put it in the gear. You go forward. I'll say. Okay, and so it's connected. You know that the tubes are connected to the drum.
I'm kind of hoping for that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a tech. We'll call it evade as you try to drive and not hit any of the other machinery in the area.
And I'm gonna yell out the window. Ah, shit! This gas pedal sticks.
God damn it. I think everyone's gonna kill Steven after this. You floor it. You hear Bashar scream, "No!" as it wrenches free, like the whole hose that's connected now to the drum itself wrenches free. Dante, you see this happen. Spire Black just flies all over the place, and you see the truck driving off. You hear Zenobe shouting. Your foot, you're like, "Ugh!" and you see the trail of Spire Black on the ground. All right, we'll go back over to Malik and Esme. You've killed one of them. There's still 2 left. One of them is being swarmed. The other one is coiling around Esme. What do the two of you want to do?
Alec, you can go first if you want.
I'd very much like to rip one apart that's on Esme. Susan, whichever. Esme's still in there, even if it is Susan.
Go right ahead. Yeah. And again, you're like this area. Your feature will apply.
Here we go. Let's give it a go.
Okay, this is a success. Roll your damage.
Okay, will do. I would just take the 3.
Okay. So you start wrenching, your claws into this one. You manage to kind of rip it free from the body of Esme to the point where like it stops coiling around. It looked like it was getting ready to its head sort of coil up and just do this chomp. But you draw its attention, and so its head whips back in your direction, tries to chomp down on you, but you just deftly step out of the way and then just rake it again down its back, your hand getting coated in blood. Esme, you suddenly have like a little bit more room to maneuver. The swarm's still at work. Malik's coming to protect you. The body of one of these has been ripped in half. What would you like to do?
Esme is going to grab that one that was just on her and pull it together as the swarm will crawl off of her directly onto it and start stinging this thing.
That's wonderful. Yeah, go ahead and roll. You're right. Probably the same thing you did last time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get those beats.
Nope. Ain't happened.
Okay. So maybe it's just too much of the swarm was unleashed the first time and you haven't yet replenished enough to kind of set free. And it's just sort of like a sudden firing of blanks as nothing comes out. However, both of you hear the sounds of a gunshot go off in the distance, a couple 100 yards away, but you can hear it very clearly. It's eerily quiet in the whole cavern because that's all you can really hear periodically, or is just the slithering of these different chunks of worms. But you hear that echoing throughout this large cavern within which the Bleeding Hollow has been set. And so you know that there's something going on elsewhere. We'll kick back over then to that gunshot where Dante, you now see the truck driving away with Zenobe screaming like, "Oh, that gas pedal sticks." You see Spire Black trail in the ground. Lucius, you can now, like Dante, you can see Lucius is the one who's responsible as you see him kind of recoil. His arm disappeared for 1 second and then suddenly repair it. And you know that you at least have that reinforcement. But this worm is still alive. Bashar is chasing after the truck. No. What would you guys like to do?
What is the truck's tires made? Is this like a big walking creature?
I think I was kind of envisioning it sort of like treads, almost like a tank-like thing, because they go, in some ways.
Okay. There's not much my knife can do against tank treads. So if the creature is still there,
Dante's going to yell at the kid to stop, stay here, don't run off.
And so he just stops like maybe 15 feet away from the drum.
Get back here. Yeah.
But it's not
And then
enough.
on 3, Lucius, as I'm going to pull up the gun and then count 1, 2, 3, and then so that way we can maybe coordinate our attack.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Are you going to do the shadow thing again?
Yeah.
All right. And you're going to fire. So yeah, both of you can roll.
And this, you said the difficulty on this was risky.
Yeah, it's risky. These
Okay.
things,
I
the
forgot
bigger
to do
ones
that
are.
last time.
It's all right.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay. Risky kill curse.
And if you guys are coordinating it, you guys can each take a knack then, since you're kind of doing a coordinated strike. That's cool. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Okay.
So not help, but just do like the mastery thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, I rolled so many dice.
Well, thank God I actually succeeded.
All right. Go ahead and roll your damage, Dante. Lucius, that's so terrible.
Oh my gosh.
5 dice.
Yes.
The highest was a 5. Oh god, that's a horrible roll.
Yes. Oh my
This
gosh.
isn't going well for you guys, actually.
No.
It's not going well at all.
So normally this would be a D8 for my gun,
Okay.
but I have the unstoppable ability where
Hmm.
when I am suffering from an ongoing blood fallout, I increase my kill stress die by 1 step. So
Okay.
it's actually going to be a D10.
All right, go for it.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, just 1 D10, not 2 D10.
It's a good thing you hit with this, dude. Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Are you
Christ.
kidding me? You guys are so unlucky. It's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
You hit it, but it's more of like you lower it, you go to fire, and maybe it's something with the arm kind of popping out at the wrong moment,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of distracts you, or like it gets right in your face, and you have to turn the gun off to the side, and you clip it, but you know you didn't do much to it. You can see it's just a graze, as this thing is still intact.
Might be hard to brace on that bloody foot of yours.
It is. Yeah, it is. Poor guy. Zenobe, you're in the truck
Being
driving away.
defeated.
What do you do?
All right, so we've established
I heard that.
Bleeding Hollows in a what?
I heard the defeated. Go ahead, there's Zenobe.
Bleeding Hollows in a big cavern, right?
Very big.
Massive overhead ceiling.
Mhm.
Tell me there's some sort of structural support somewhere,
Yeah.
like
I
a
mean,
stalagmite or a building that goes all the way up.
oh no, there's periodic pillars. Yeah. Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean, they're
I'm-
natural rock, but they've been refined over time. Yeah.
I am taking the truck directly to the closest pillar.
Okay. Sure. Roll a discern haven. See if you can find your way there, especially through all of the difficulty now. Like everything looks different other than the same central places.
That is a failure.
Yeah, you are getting lost. You're trying to drive through these sort of corridors and such. You're at this point you've distanced yourself from Dante and Lucius, and you're driving around, and you can't find exactly where you're going. We'll say you're starting to feel a little frustrated. So take 6 points of fortune stress, as like you feel suddenly like a bump in the road, and suddenly the truck is driving strangely and rough, and like you're not sure if you just ran over something, but definitely you're starting to feel a bit of luck go against you, and then your fortune.
Yep, definitely.
It's a 9.
Yeah, I'm at 13, so that's definitely a fallout.
Okay, and this will be a major fallout too, as it is a 9. Let's see what we got. So I said fortune, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So. That doesn't really work that well either. I'm just gonna say you're lost. Like you're utterly lost, and so we'll just kind of call it that, and then we'll call this ongoing. And you'll need to.
All right.
You'll kind of have to complete your own little mini endeavor. You'll probably have to get like a couple successes in a row to kind of get yourself unlost. As you're looking around for this, there's no light too. It's not like there's any light. You're driving around in the darkness and rubble, and you're avoiding all of these worms, and you're completely and utterly lost.
I'm just cursing like a trucker under my breath.
Okay. Malik and Esme were back by you. You've got the like you're making progress. You certainly are, but they're vicious and they're going after you still. The swarm is still keeping one at bay. Malik, you're wrenching through the other. What do you two want to do? And then you heard the sound of the gunshot from a distance.
So, running towards that now, we'll only put our back towards these things, so it's best to deal with the matter at hand, I believe.
We need to protect this.
I understand. Right.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage first as you start to rake through this one again. And again, spouts of blood. It's in kill range if you get enough. If you do enough.
I'll take the 2, I guess, or is that a 2 and a 3?
I think it's a 2 and a 3.
I'll take the 3 piercing.
Oh no, it's a 1 and a 4. So it'd be 4 damage.
Oh, I'll take the 4
Which
piercing.
you can go ahead and describe your kill.
Right.
With the 4.
place myself directly over the plant, kicking at one, reaching to the other one's face, plunging the thumb into one eye, the pinky into the other, and then squeezing as hard as possible, hoping to wrench whatever's in the forehead.
And it
out.
just, like, the eye collapses inward like jelly, and it just spews onto your hand, and you just keep pushing and pushing until you hear a sickening kind of crunch, like biting into shrimp all of a sudden. And it just suddenly goes limp, and you're just holding a rope in your hand. And just let it go, and it falls dead. Esme, one more left.
Esme is, well, Susan is going to let's see, how can I don't really have too many options. So let's just say Esme is going to bring the swarm back and send them out towards this last one.
Okay. So you kind of reach out, either with your mind or even with your hand, and suddenly the swarm uplifts off of the one that's just been harassing, and just you see it just swarm back towards you again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you unload it once more. So go ahead and roll. And again, you get the benefit of this not being risky, this being standard.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
I realize I forgot to do Jeremy's. Jeremy, in its death throes, it'll get a nick off on you, perhaps. We'll give you 5, and then Esme, because both of you had success at a cost. Esme, we'll make that echo as something about, like, as they start pulling back in, some of them coated in this sort of the blood of the one that you've been harassing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you bring the ones that are kind of coated in that blood back in, you just feel something inside you just begin to twist and turn. Something's wrong. Some of these bugs seem confused, and they start to kind of almost eat away at the inside of you. Malik, your fallout die is a 1. Yours, Esme, is a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I had more than one stress, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's major echo fallout for me.
Okay. So we'll say that for Malik, as you kind of grind that in, we'll say, trying to think of something minor that could have happened here. I'll think furious is probably fine at this point. You're hearing the sounds of something terrible happening in the distance. You're kind of having to fight this off. Zenobe has been driving you nuts lately, and you're not sure what's going on. So call it furious. Basically means you can't help. You couldn't help Esme in a roll at this point. Esme, major echo. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yep.
right. For you, we'll say. Okay. I'll say, well, kind of carrying forward the notion that, like, the bees are doing something inside of you, like different, like the ones kind of coated. We'll say reconfigured physiology. Your organs and bones aren't making sense anymore. Stuff is kind of being resituated. So you can no longer remove stress from blood or remove blood fallout at haunts or through the use of medical kits. This is ongoing.
Nice.
This shows itself in some outward fashion, so like unusual growths bulging into your skins, words appearing as bruises, black blood, and so on. So you'd have to remove that fallout before you could get rid of the blood stress and such.
Sounds awesome.
Okay. So did you roll and how much stress did you do against them, Esme? As you did
Let's
succeed.
Find out. 5 piercing.
All right, not enough to take this last one out, but it's certainly on its last legs. One more decent hit will probably take this one out. Back over towards.
As
Yeah, go ahead.
wait, just a moment. As that happens, the bees start flying back inside of her body, but her skin like turns like has holes in it like the textures of a honeycomb, and like her right arm disappears completely, and she sprouts insect wings
Oh my
as
goodness.
she starts screaming, and it's in Esme's voice.
Malik, how do you react to this?
Guess I'm furious. I'm still tearing away into the thing in front of me.
Maybe you don't even know. Yeah, maybe you don't even notice yet. You maybe
Yeah.
vaguely hear Esme screaming, but you're not really paying too much
But
attention.
at that point, just makes me want to kill these things even harder.
Oh, okay. That works too. Back over by the other one. Lucius and Dante are still working on this one of them. Bashar is nearby, wondering what to do. The truck has gotten away from you. You can't see it anymore. Dante and Lucius, how do you want to take this thing out?
All right, actually on 3 this time.
All right. Actually on 3 this time. I got you.
It's
All
it's
right.
on 3. It's not 1, 2, 3, go. It's on
Right,
3.
One,
on
two,
3. 1,
One,
2,
three.
3.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Shoot.
Yeah, you just like put up
Yes.
a finger, like hang on, Worm, 1
Yeah.
second. We're gonna go on 3, right? And then we're just like, okay, anytime.
Yeah.
All right, go for
All
it.
right. Come on now.
And same setup as before is fine. Oh my god,
It's just-
Chuck!
So I got a 10,
Ah.
but since it's risky, that removed it.
Oh my god,
Ah.
guys.
You're rolling so bad.
You
here.
are
This
rolling
This
terrible.
is great.
9 dice between the two of you. You're just rolling so
And
awful.
we couldn't get 2 successes between the two of us.
Yeah.
And I'll say
Two each.
this sounds like a fortune situation. You guys are going so poorly. So go ahead and take 6 points of fortune. And
Oh god.
as something's happening, like this isn't right. Like the attacks, like you're firing at close range and somehow missing, or the gun's misfiring,
Yeah.
or bullets are ricocheting. Lucius, you're using your spell. You're shooting your arm into the shadow, but it's appearing in these different places. Things are not working
Yeah.
the way they're supposed to be working. So we'll do that. Same roll for both. Both you take 6 fallout, and then 8 on the roll for
Yeah, I
fallout.
only got the 6.
Very,
Okay.
very high over that.
Okay. So it's an 8. So we're talking major fallout. I was just there for somebody else. Major fortune fallout. Let's see. What can we do? That's major fortune fallout. Yeah, these don't really work out too well. I'll say crisis. Something's so like with crisis, which is like a minor one, but it kind of builds. So the idea of like something bad is about to happen, and then eventually something foreboding. So foreboding is like the minor one. Something bad is about to happen. So I'll say here's what's foreboding. Here's what's gonna go off if you don't deal with this situation quickly. Dante, you look over and you see something. The drum itself, you can hear strange sounds kind of coming from it, and it feels as though within moments this drum could erupt if you don't take care of this quickly. And so that's what's happening. So if you don't kind of take care of this and get the hell out of here quickly, or if you don't do something to prevent the drum from exploding, you could have a situation on your hands.
What is it that's threatening the drum?
So when Zenobe drove away, kind
Yeah.
of ripped the hose free, and you can see that some of the valves that were kind of connected were damaged in the process. So effectively a tech, or like some sort of technology roll to mend it could probably keep it from exploding.
I trust you, Dante.
Okay. Speaking of Zenobe, you've been driving around. You're like I
Yeah.
thought it was by the Arby's, but it's not.
I'm regretting that I've never actually.
That you've
I'm regretting that I never actually paid attention when the group was walking somewhere. I was always just looking at my. So my GPS sucks. I don't know the way. However, I can smell sources of magical power.
Okay.
So I want to stop and take a beat, roll down the window, and start smelling for salty air.
Okay. Roll discern and roll discern.
Religion? Occult?
Yeah, I think religion makes perfect sense. Yeah, or a cult. Either one of those would do. And I'll say this: if you get a critical success, you will be able to sort of locate it right now. If you just get a regular success, you have to wait like another round before it kind of comes around to you.
Does anyone want to call me and give me directions to assist?
I don't think so. I don't
No,
think you
no
have
one
any
wants to
friends in the
assist?
party yet.
No.
Just a regular success.
Okay, so you
It was a 9 that was almost critical.
sniff and you hear you feel salt kind of assaulting your nose, and you kind of look in and you listen. Thought you'd like that. You listen and you hear the sounds of rain, and you look off, and almost as if like a spotlight, there is this shower of that sort of salty water kind of collapsing down, and you see just behind it is a pillar. It's a good ways through a lot of this rubble, so it'll take you a moment to get there, but at least you know where you're going now.
Okay, that's where I'm headed.
All right, Malik, you just saw Esme have wings. You're furious. You're hearing gunshots in the distance. You've killed 2 of these things. There's 1 more left. What do you want to do?
I think I'd like to finish the job.
Please do. It is getting close.
Okay, can do this.
Critical success. This could kill it, actually, if you
Okay.
do high enough on the damage.
So I'll do 2d4 for the first.
Mm-hmm. 8, 6, 7.
I'll take the 4, and then I'll roll again.
Okay, take the 4. 5, 3. I think I know where the next one's going.
Yeah, I'll take the 3.
Okay, 7 points of damage is actually exactly enough. Describe how you kill the last one. It's all piercing, right? That was
Yeah,
piercing.
all piercing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because basically I only do unarmed attacks.
Okay, so you wrench through this last one. How does this last one die?
I think the last one, the fury begins to, somewhat dissipate as he just rips it apart and stands there like, what have you done to Esme? As he just slowly pulls it apart.
And like maybe by the, like you grab like each side of the mouth and just like rip the mouth, and like a zipper, it just opens the whole body, and all of these different things that it's eaten recently just suddenly pour out onto the ground. Esme, you see the bodies of these 3 things are ripped apart on the ground. You feel these wings, your arm has dissipated. Something's wrong on the inside. But the blood of these worms is, you can, as you're watching, it's pooling around where you've planted this sapling. And you see like a time lapse, the acceleration as the blood itself begins to get seeped further and further, faster and faster into the roots of where you just planted this sapling.
You see Esme walking towards the sapling, but slowly and like jerkily, and she's like, "Don't let her near it! Get me away!"
Malik.
If it's because he at this point he can tell the difference in the voice between.
I would think so, yeah.
This means
It's happened long enough.
he will basically just football tackle, like shove his shoulder into, like trying not to harm her physically because they do share the same body, but just.
Adam, would there be a resistance here? Do you want to roll for this, or would it happen? It's up to you.
I think Esme and Susan are arguing enough that I do want it to be a roll because we'll see who gains control.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then Malik, go ahead and roll. I mean, kill is probably not the right, but you can use kill even though you're not physically killing. If you want to do hunt instead, either's fine.
I mean, I'll roll as it would still be. What's the domain then?
Domain. I mean, Haven. It would be fine as you're just trying to tackle a friend essentially. I don't think there's any reason to do anything crazier than that.
Okay, I don't have Haven. I have Curse. I have lots of other stuff.
Let's see. What is Esme? Esme is an apiarist, right?
Yeah, she started with a cult.
Yeah. Sure, you can do a cold.
Okay, I do have that.
Okay, so success for Malik with an 8.
Yeah, I think that would be enough.
Okay.
That Malik, you definitely feel resistance, but Susan is too busy trying to repair the body, like essentially, that Susan can't really control it very well.
Okay.
And as Esme just starts yelling over and over and over, "Get me to the center of town! Get me there! Get me to the tree, the meat tree!"
At which point, with Esme on his shoulder, Malik is running to the tree.
Okay. So you're the firemen charged through the dark. Sounds of worms around you. Sounds of gunfire in the distance. Esme, as you look backwards, you see like just the rapid growth of this sapling, like as it sucks in the blood of these worms. Dante and Lucius, the most unlucky people in the world.
All right.
What do you guys want to do?
So Dante is gonna be like, "All right, kid, you said something about a pressure gauge. Let's see if we can get this shit figured out."
So if anybody wants to, whoever wants to make the roll, you can take a knack for Bashar helping you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the roll because I
Yeah,
assume Lucius.
I'll let him do that, and I'm just gonna try and keep this creature off their back while they.
We're gonna try to mend
tech,
technology.
and you get a knack, and it's just standard.
Okay, just standard.
Yeah.
I might actually be able to succeed on this.
Oh, you had to say that, didn't you? There you go.
Hey!
Yeah.
So you quickly move over. Bashar is like over your shoulder. No, not that one. No, no, wait, no, yeah. You were right the first time. That one. And then so you're like, you're twisting
violently.
Yeah, and like all of a sudden, like you can see the pressure gauge begins to sort of tick back down, and it doesn't seem like it's on the verge of exploding anymore. Lucius, same setup, risky. There he goes. You lost your
You
crit,
can
but you got a
succeed.
success. No
I'll
damage
take it.
back. Roll your damage towards this thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So this will be D6 kill brutal.
This thing has taken a couple bits of damage, so it's in range.
Yeah, 3.
It's brutal, so you should get to roll twice. And take the better.
I'll stick with the 3.
Unfortunately, that's not enough. You need 5. It's down. It's almost dead. Okay, so this thing, as you see, a chunk of it like wrenches free. You vaguely hear the sounds of like Esme screaming in the distance. You can still hear kind of the humming of the truck somewhere vaguely in the shadows. Zenobe, roll an important sort of you know where you're going, so we're gonna call it a sort of a hunt haven as you're trying to go to where you need to go, and you can take a knack because you have sort of an idea of where you're headed.
Hunt Haven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have.
Do you have anything with your character? Like,
Okay. No, I made the worst character,
You
and I
really
love him so
have.
much because he sucks. But I get an X, so it's fine.
Okay.
Knack. That's not mastery. I
It
just
is
choose like
mastery.
help.
Knack
Oh, it is
and
mastery.
mastery are basically
Okay.
the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I accidentally rolled with Dante. I didn't mean to do that.
You son of a bitch.
Wait,
I
what?
ain't helping you.
Thanks, Dante. Technically, if you take out Dante's dice, I still succeeded.
I know.
Okay. All right. So you get succeeded normal or succeed with stress?
It was regular. It was an 8
Normal.
and a
I
9.
rolled a 9
Okay,
with
so
the knack.
Dante's was an
The base was a
8.
5. The knack was a 9.
Gotcha.
Dante was
I
an
see
8.
it. Yeah, that's pretty handy that they actually show whose die is what. Okay. So do you plow right into the pillar?
Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead, and are you staying in the truck?
It's on tread, so it's not going to veer too far off, right? Yeah, I'll duck and roll.
Okay, you're gonna dive out. Okay,
Yeah, I'll dive out.
I'll say roll an evade, roll tech. It's gonna smash into this. Fine. This is just to see whether you take any damage when this happens.
Critical success.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
As you line up, you see exactly where the rain is coming down. It's kind of lit, as if it's trying to direct you in this path. You have a straight line. Doesn't appear to be any sinkholes in the way. You get this thing as fast as it can go. And as you get really close, you just leap out. The truck continues, and it smashes right into pillar. And you see it just wipes it clear on out. Everyone else could hear the sounds of this crash. And the the truck keeps going, and it smashes into a building, and everything kind of starts collapsing here and there. It's a very dark cavern at this point, but all of you hear like echoing through this horrible explosion. And then you hear like the crackling that kind of comes next, a shaking. You see rocks like kind of come loose, Zenobe, as you're laying down on the ground, and they just thud and then thud and then thud, and then all around within the haven, all of these rocks just begin to fall. And those of you who are feeling occasional flickerings of water, you suddenly feel a lot heavier bits of water. Dante and Lucius, you're close enough to buildings where you can kind of get under a ledge. But then suddenly all of you smell the salt, and you just feel this deluge of water just rip down into the haven as the Drowned Queen's domain suddenly is let in to the Bleeding Hollow. And I think we'll pick up there next session as Zenobe has gone full PvP.
That is the hardest I've worked for a minor beat. A minor beat. It's not even major. It's not even Xena.
You know, you don't have to destroy our haven.
Yeah.
You could have destroyed someone else's.
Someone
haven.
else's, yeah.
I took Severin, just never got the chance.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're
Okay.
not.
It's
that's
fine.
okay.
We're just gonna hunt your character down and kill you. It's fine.
Dante, I think you definitely got refused to back down. Would it be beneficial to do so?
Oh yeah.
I
I didn't mess with the hounds too much yet. I don't think I got that. one.
No. You could have brought him with you, Jebediah. Lucius, you got the protege one.
Yeah, I've already got mine and got it updated with the new one.
Malik, did you de-escalate a situation that would have led to bloodshed?
Tried to.
What's that? I think so.
Tried to.
I think bloodshed didn't actually happen. So I suppose by default it could have gone to bloodshed, and it didn't. So take it.
Okay.
Zenobe, you got the whole damage or sabotage haven. So yeah, you're there. Okay. All right. So we'll pick up there. We're very, very close to the end, I think. I don't. Next session could potentially be the last one, so I would say everyone should probably take a Zenith beat, just in case we do manage to finish up next time. But definitely, I think the time after we can hit it. Why don't we do some closing plugs and we'll get the hell out of here. Chuck, tell us about Defenders.
Oh, that's me. Let's see. Wednesday on Defenders of Cobalt, we're going to be rocking out some more Thunder Rift. Back at that. Thursday, we're going to be doing Through the Hedgerows, our Tales from the Loop campaign. That's kind of inspired by Over the Garden Wall. Friday, we'll be back for Dungeon Crawl Classics, our Dead Sun campaign. Things didn't go super crazy last session. I did kill Joe. So,
I mean, you're just doing public service, really.
yeah. And that's for Defenders. Twitch for GNP for Grim and Perilous here. We might have something Tuesday. And then on Saturday, we've got Fallout 2D20 at 1 p.m.
Yeah. Mike, anything you want to plug for Grim and Perilous?
I do Mechanics Mondays for our Patreon. Right now I'm going through Blackbird's like character creation, taking a look at all the different races and their boons, their banes, and all their various knickknacks. So, because we played a lot of Gen Con, had fun with it, but yeah, it's definitely different than Zweihander and Flames of Freedom. So it's been fun to learn.
Cool. Steven, you got anything you wanna talk about?
Yeah, I do.
I know.
So on the 20th, Tuesday, I will be running a game again over on Adventures in Lollygagging. It's a Haunted West game, kind of Cthulhu meets the Wild West. Jeff will be able to terrorize me instead of the other way around. It should be a fun game. Come and join us.
You did tell me about this.
I figured that you would do stupid shit like try to destroy havens, and run trucks into walls. And
that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to say, is there a truck nearby? And then I'm going to drive it into something. But I don't think there's
a
trucks.
6-horse wagon.
I'm going to drive a 6-horse wagon. Just going to murder horses. It's the first thing I do. All right. Well, not last, actually. Jeremy, you got a Patreon you want to talk about?
Yeah, everyone released on Patreon. You've got comics, art assets, maps, 5e stuff. It's a good time.
Yeah. And as for us, let's see. Monday, you can catch Chuck, Jeremy, myself as we're playing Hala for Savage Worlds. Next Friday should be a Mothership night, and then Saturday will be Wondering again. And then I think Chuck and I will be tomorrow night over on Steam Steel Murder as we're playing some Shadowrun. So there's that. I will toss it then to Adam to close it on out.
Yeah, mainly if you just come to our website, Grim and Perilous Plays, grimandperilous.com. You can check out any of the latest news that we have. That would lead you to the Patreon that Mike was talking about earlier, where you not only get his essay level mechanics Mondays that he does, you can also get discounts on our future products for being a member, see how we're doing on Radiator, get early access to some of the stuff that we create. You can even see our Wednesday night game sessions of Zweihander. So, and that would be 1 month early before the rest of the world gets it. So, yeah, other than that, that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for those of you who are watching this later on. We'll be back in a couple weeks to see where the hell this chaos goes. Thanks to the players for hanging out and playing, doing crazy things, and living with Steven. Bye. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.